Shalom and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you who have joined us for People Making a Difference. And have we got a wonderful guest for you today. His life is making an enormous difference here in Israel among young people. And he is a former policeman, so look out. You'll be introduced to Richard Ayal Frieden in just a moment. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this message.
There is a transformation going on in Israel today. The old waste places are being rebuilt, as promised by the Hebrew prophets of old. Kisalon is no exception. Mentioned in the book of Joshua and situated just west of Jerusalem in the Judean hills, Kisalon was reestablished in 1952 by Yemenite immigrants after centuries of dormancy.
Kisalon is a way out of the way kind of town. It hasn't really been touched for 60 years, and that's perfect for us because we came here to help develop this area. We have, apart from our house, we have about 45 olive trees. And not only that, we also have this area here of 900 square meters, or about 9,000 square feet of an area that we can build a TV studio on. Now this area belongs to us, and we want to build the studio here, and it can never be taken away. It's amazing.
For 40 years now, we as a family have lived out our mandate to announce good news from Zion. And we're doing this via our weekly TV show and daily internet updates. You can go ahead and check those out on www.israelvision.tv.
To be perfectly positioned, and positioned perfectly, was the advice given to the Rawlings family some years ago regarding their media work. Now the location of their new studio facility is ideal. It lies in a direct line of sight to Neve Yalan, allowing a television signal to flow unhindered to one of the world's largest teleports, with some 50 satellite dishes and specialized fiber optic communications facilities that can span the globe in an instant. The plan is to create offices and a central studio that is reasonable in price yet world-class in quality.
Hi there, I'm Chris Rawlings, the creator of Israel Vision TV. The time is now to send out positive news commentaries and informational shows from Judea, the center of Israel.
This unique facility is dedicated to educating a global audience by serving local Israelis, international Christians, and peace-loving Arabs, anyone who works for the good of Israel. Here is how you can be involved. Your donation today is essential to help us complete this strategic media center that is one of a kind in the world today. Donations in Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom are tax deductible. 1 square foot of the building will cost $250 US or 200 euros. 1 square meter will cost $2,200 US or 1850 euros. You can safely donate online using any major credit card via PayPal or bank transfers. On our website, www.israelvision.tv. For further information, please email us. Thank you for your part in this timely Israeli media project. The teaching shall go forth from Zion and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Shalom and welcome back to People Making a Difference. And Richard Frieden, it's a joy to have you with us today on our program.
Good to be here.
You are a man with a heart for young people. And I love the scripture. You sent me some information about what you're doing with your music box and your wave and the jam. We want to know what all of that is. But it says in the scriptures in Psalm 78, and you've said that this is kind of what exemplifies your heart, that they shall teach them, that is about God, to their children, that the generation to come might know, even the children yet to be born, that they may arise and tell to their children that they should put their hope and confidence in God. So you've covered several generations there to give the message of hope.
That's right.
And you know, Richard, what are you doing to give this hope? What is your vision?
Well, I love the name of your show, Making a Difference, People Making a Difference. And I've always believed that if we're willing to make a difference, then God's going to, make up the difference for us.
He makes the difference.
That's right. So, this whole, my life really is about helping the generations. We think generationally. What we're doing today in Israel is not necessarily for my wife and I, but it's for my kids and my kids' kids.
True.
And
Yes.
the connections and friends and family that they'll come out from their lives.
That's Judaism in operation, isn't it? Lador, lador.
Lador, absolutely. And being a messianic believer is, I think, kind of fulfills that whole idea for me. Yeah.
Now, before you tell us what jam, wave, and music box means, give our viewing audience a little bit of background. In other words, you are from where?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Into a
I
Jewish...
hear that lovely accent.
Yeah, it's a great accent.
And then you came, but on the way you were a policeman. How did that work out?
That's right. I moved to Israel in 1982, made Aliyah, became an Israeli citizen in 1982, and subsequently came to faith in 1983 in Israel, and faith in Yeshua. And following my army service in Israel, I was inducted to the Israeli police, where I served as a narcotics detective here in Jerusalem, Israel, and also as a liaison officer in Interpol, which is the International Relations Desk in Jerusalem.
Now, when you say Interpol, is that the famous one we hear about on TV?
Yeah, that's the famous cloak and dagger portrayed organization.
And so you actually were involved with them, doing also in drug crime?
I was a liaison officer in Interpol in Jerusalem, and we dealt with the various cases concerning, international crime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that with your experience as a police officer, this brought you into contact with youth at risk in Israel in a very dramatic way. Can you tell us about that?
That's exactly true. I think when we think about Jerusalem, we think about the beauty of Jerusalem and the glory of Jerusalem and the coming of the Messiah and all this.
Angels on every corner.
Angels, streets paved with gold, and and that's all good, and it's great to think about Jerusalem in that way. But there is definitely a dark side of Jerusalem. And yet a lot of hope in the city as well. And I think I saw a lot of the dark side of Jerusalem as a police narcotics detective. And yeah, I think that's where God gave me a heart and a burden to try to help young people, to try to show them that there's a better way to live, and at the very least to encourage young men and women who have, messed up in life, and for whatever reason, whether it be poor economic backgrounds, dysfunctional families, or that they just messed up and they began hanging out with the wrong kids and maybe didn't have a great self-image, or whatever the reason is. Kids do get into trouble, and it's just really about encouraging them.
It's interesting, Meridel, in her work with abused people, she has discovered that people abuse themselves with drugs or with whatever, their lifestyle, prostitution or whatever, because many times they were abused in their own homes. And so therefore they've lost hope and they've lost direction, so they shoot up drugs or whatever to try to kill that pain, drink alcohol to excess. And so that's something we've discovered or she's discovered in her work. Did you find that to be true as well? I mean, was there the root causes of this breakdown in the kids, in this generation?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of root causes of kind of kids going bad, or juvenile delinquency, or addiction, or addictive behaviors. But no matter what it is, there are deep-seated reasons for them being angry at life, angry at authority figures, whatever it might be. Yeah. And yet the simplicity of, I think, intervening in a young person's life is giving them your time, giving them a listening ear, and letting them know that you're real and that you love them unconditionally. You're just willing to listen to them and hopefully to guide them and to refer them to the kinds of treatment or help that they may need, whether it be addictions or,
Well, I know that you've developed some amazing things here in Jerusalem. My son, for example, has visited JAM. And tell us what that was about and what because let's take a chronological look at how you've been led. You left the police force.
Right.
Then what happened?
Well, I have a background in theater arts.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm a former dancer and I'm a former martial artist and paint once in a while as well over the years.
Wow.
And so seeing what I saw in the police and seeing that there are definite social problems in Israeli society, and it's only on the increase. Seeing that there is drug abuse and alcohol abuse in Israel, and that there's a need. My wife and I, just thought, well, maybe there's something here. Maybe we can help out by opening up a center for kids off the street, or for anybody for that reason. They don't have to be a street kid.
No.
Just young people, give them something to do.
Yeah.
And our vision is to encourage them in the area of the arts. Use the arts, use creative ways to reach young people. You might find a superstar, or you just might encourage a kid to want to live.
Yeah.
So it really, so the goal was just to encourage young people. And on the way, if you found, someone that discovered a hidden talent, ma tov, that's wonderful when that happens.
Yes.
And so we opened this place called the JAM. JAM it means Jerusalem Artists, Musicians, and Media. It's a nonprofit organization in Israel. And its primary purpose is to encourage young people, netto, period. Through the arts, through music production, through open mic performance stage work. And the JAM was quite a popular place for young Jerusalemites for many years. And through the work of the JAM, we were able to produce new music, which was fantastic. We produced one album called Israeli Youth Worship. Mm-hmm. And this was I would say, even a bit of a revolution or renaissance in new worship music. Mm-hmm. At the time, the album wasn't widely accepted by some of the leaders, messianic leaders in the country. And
sounds familiar.
And today, I think that
you do something new, it's hard to get it accepted.
Yeah, and I think that today, that those songs that we produced in the JAM are used probably in most congregations throughout the country.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. So JAM was just a great experience. Reaching out to young people. Many of the young people that worked in the JAM as volunteers or as young staff went on and to serve in media companies in Israel, and some became youth pastors. And so it's quite exciting to see the fruit that came out of not only working with the kids themselves that came, but also working with the young volunteers. Mm-hmm. So again, all about generational, that we're trying to, encourage, enrich, empower young people so they can grab onto that.
And we've had a
passion.
connection because we some kind of equipment that you needed, and we were able to share that with you, and that was good.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, what about what's happened now? So after did JAM carry on, or is that?
JAM was evicted. We were evicted from our location 3 years ago, and that was just due to the sale of the property that we were renting. Over the past 3 years, we, of course, the Second Lebanon War broke out nearly 3 years ago, and so our nonprofit organization went into emergency relief mode, and we just made some calls at the outset of the war, and we just made ourselves available, and we became members of the National Israeli Volunteer Association, and through some contacts with a major city in the northern part of the country, we began helping their youth services division.
Okay.
And how did we help them? At the outset of the war, we just simply channeled funds and helped the youth services bus kids down to safer areas in Israel. We helped set up a kind of a refugee camp, and my son and I, who at the time was 13 years old, we did outdoor film evenings for kids and families that hung out in this camp during the war. For I think it was about 30 days they were there.
Yeah.
So we did film evenings and providing food and things like that, just the normal kinds of emergency relief that anybody would do.
Well, wait a minute now. Not just anybody would do. Like, this is amazing. This is God has put this in your heart to help people, and that's what's called loving your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
So I think this is to be honored, and I want to honor you for what you're doing. Yeah, Richard. So, okay.
Yeah. So that relationship grew and developed, and we discussed some of the needs of this particular youth services department. And they said, "Hey, can you help us with our enrichment course? We have juvies, we have kids at risk, teens at risk that we have about 30 or 40 teens at risk that are in a special program for a year. And would you volunteer a media course, media enrichment course?" And I said, "That sounds like a fabulous idea." So we wrote up a curriculum. And we launched that, it was nearly soon after the war. And that was quite a successful program that we're still involved in.
So you're teaching kids how to make TV shows.
That's right. Well, yeah, we teach them the basic fundamentals of media production.
Right.
And sometimes they get extra modules like animation. And the whole concept is to bring together 6 teenagers at a time. And they're great kids, tough kids, and just to explore some of the tools of media production. And through that, it's really marvelous because the debriefing is really the best time of this whole course. We can sit with the kids at the end of the day and get their feedback.
Yeah.
How did you feel shooting a clip on moodiness or whatever it might be, whatever challenge they're given for the day.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you? What did you learn about yourself? And one of the students that graduated our media course is now finishing high school at a arts and media school in the north. Now she'll be finishing high school and then she'll be going off and doing her Army service.
So that's given it's given a career direction.
For this particular girl, it's really given, she really discovered that she has a gift and a talent. And others as well, clearly. Kids that you wouldn't think had any kind of aptitude or depth of creativity, that just
So you are really mentoring and bringing forth a new dimension for these kids. And what do you do now? What do you need? You're working with. You've got a new truck I see outside, very nicely painted.
Yes,
did your kids paint it?
We had 2 graffiti artists, professional graffiti artists, new immigrants from France.
Yeah.
Who live in Tel Aviv, did this great job on the graffiti work, and it's called the Music Box. And we're about to launch this exciting project. Again, it's going to be launched with this particular youth services department in the north of the country. It is, I believe, the only vehicle of its kind in Israel today. In that we're going to be installing high-tech, media equipment for the sole purpose of, hanging out with kids and, allowing kids access to this kind of equipment and to learn a bit more about doing media in the field. or just parking the vehicle in difficult areas in the northern part of Israel, in difficult neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and having kids come around and watch a video clip, or listening to music, or playing PlayStation 3. So all this equipment will be in the van, both for media purposes with kids and for outreach purposes, just parking the vehicle, opening up the doors, playing music, playing, a video clip.
Yeah, yeah.
And hanging out with them, together with social workers. So there'll be referral possibilities for kids. If we have kids that are, come to the van and they obviously need a bit more attention and intervention, they can actually sign in to a laptop that we need to purchase as well. And the laptop will have the program of this particular city's youth services. They can sign in, and they'll be immediately considered in the system. And young people often don't like going to city offices.
Right.
It's a bit of a, whether it be from shame or they just don't like authority, whatever it is, they have an opportunity to sign in the van, and they're sort of like signing on the dotted line. Then they can get free social services. And so we'll have information for them on board. And
now, do you work with Arab and Jewish kids as well?
yes, actually, in this particular area, it's with Jewish kids and Arabs. Yeah, so it's really, really quite an opportunity we have.
Well, that's amazing. And how do we pray for you? What are some of the basic needs?
Well, it's like we're doing our part. We've to make this work happen. It's an important work. There's no doubt that there's social, political, and spiritual unrest in this nation, and we need to do, nonprofits and ministries need to do all they can to meet the needs of young people.
Yeah.
We need equipment. We need some pieces of equipment they need to complete the project, the music box. So if they could be praying for that. The van is ready to go. We just need to install some of the equipment that we still need.
Okay. And is your family working? You mentioned your wife. You mentioned your son. So it's kind of a family affair.
Yes,
is it?
My family definitely works alongside. We work together. My wife Yardena, who is Israeli-born, is a significant partner in the work, and our two children are. My son is 16 years old, and my daughter is 13. And my son plays drums in the new outreach center that we have in Jerusalem, and a lot of fun. Yeah.
Good. Now you have a dream also to have a skateboard park. I remember. What's happening with that?
Yeah. Well, it all takes money. And and certainly that is something we're all about. This young generation and whatever it takes to encourage young people. And skateboarding is still a very popular sport in Israel today. And, we just, would it be to God to be able to find a property that we can actually purchase and create a skateboard park. I think it's just been fantastic. Not only would it be a fantastic outreach, but just in terms of marketplace business.
Yes.
It is just fantastic.
You mean selling skateboard clothing and
designer line clothing that would be with our branding? Skateboards, skate park entrance fees, concerts, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so of those who are listening and have a heart for marketplace business.
Yeah. Well, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a challenge to all of us. We, those of us who are parents, feel such a burden when we go downtown and we see the kids and see them just lounging around downtown Jerusalem. They've got nothing to do. So this would be awesome. And if you are interested in furthering the work of this amazing young man, Richard Frieden, then please be in touch with us. Our website is up on the screen. You know how to get in touch with us, and we will pass on your name to Richard and Yardena and the team at JAM and at with the new music box truck, And we would love for you to be a part of this as well, to help him realize his dream. Thank you so much for being with us.
Great to
and
be with
I
you.
hope it's the first, but it's not the last.
Excellent.
And we want to see how God's, developing this amazing project.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we too are a faith operation, and we really appreciate our family of donors that we have around the world. It's not a big group, it's a small group, but it's a faithful group. And I want to honor you and thank you for standing with us for over 4 decades now as we have been standing and working here in Israel. It's the 4th decade this month. So God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you real soon. So long from Mevaseret Zion.